welcome to highlights of the Paris Marching Band's trip to the 1988 Orange Bowl Parade. See the Paris, Illinois Marching Tiger Band as they dazzled the crowds in Miami, Florida. Join us now as we take you on the band's journey to the Sunshine State.
Good evening, I'm Shelley Johns from beautiful Miami, Florida. During the next 30 minutes, you'll see the Paris, Illinois Marching Tiger Band as they perform in the 1989 Orange Bowl Parade. I'll show you just what makes this band tick, and you'll see firsthand as these musicians work hard and as they play hard. The Citizens National Bank of Paris is proud to bring you this special, and they're delighted to show you the sights and sounds of the Marching Tigers in Miami. There's definitely more to come after this, so don't go away. Welcome back. I'm beginning this story the day 240 musicians from Paris High School piled into the school's gymnasium. This enthusiastic group came carrying luggage for their 8-day trip to Florida, but they also came with great expectations of the adventures ahead.
I'm so excited. It's just like so well planned and everything, and once we get down there, I'm gonna have so much fun.
Pretty excited. I mean, I've been waiting for this for a couple months, and I'm ready to go get down that warm weather.
We pray, Lord, that your hand of love and passion and protection and guidance will be upon each of them. Rejoice in their lives, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Following a moment of prayer, band director Warren Sperry rounded everyone up and began moving them out to the 6 charter buses that would take the kids to paradise. The band's story begins long before the kids took their seats on the buses, though. For a trip of this magnitude, a great deal of money must be raised. The price tag for the trip was about $55,000. I take you back now to just one of the band's many fundraisers. They left some of the band's full raffle tickets, where folks can win a variety of items, including one of 2 brand new cars. Sperry says if it weren't for the support of the people of Paris, it would be inconceivable that the band would ever go on a trip.
Tight community. People work hard together. One thing that I like about it more than anything, there's a lot of people in this town who their cup is half full. It's never half empty. Very positive. And we've been through some tough times.
And it's that close-knit community spirit that led to such a successful fundraising effort. Marching Tigers bring a great deal of pride to Paris, and folks agree the band is one of the brightest spots in town.
I had a daughter which was in the band 4 years ago and a son now, but just thinking about all the kids that's involved and the importance it is to their lives, it just kind of makes chills run down your back.
We feel they are one of the best ambassadors that we can have for the entire community. They certainly are salesmen. You cannot ignore this band. You catch their spirit, they are infectious, and they're so exciting.
Raising money is just one of the building blocks for this trip. Another is practice. This army of musicians will soon embark on an 8-day journey. Their destination, warm and sunny Miami, Florida. The culmination of the trip, of course, will be performing in the prestigious Orange Bowl Parade. But before that performance, these 240 musicians are going through some vigorous rehearsals. Several times a week, in spite of brisk temperatures, these kids haul their instruments out for a half hour of marching practice on the streets of Paris. Kids in this band represent about 40% of the PHS enrollment. It's obvious when this group marches down the street, they have a certain air about them. It's a sense of pride they exude when they march and when they play.
It's just wherever we go, we're a big band, and we like to have pride that we're something really good that's come out of this community since it's small. We try to be the best we can be, and we're proud of that.
When we talked with Sperry about a month before the trip, he said each band member was musically solid, and here's why.
Where every student must come in and play the music memorized with less than 4 mistakes. And all the kids are going through it, and almost 95% of the band has got that completed. They have the spirit to get things done. We provide a system, and as a result, you've got a really top-notch band.
Okay, now that you have better insight into just what makes the Paris band tick, let's get back on the buses. We had a police and ambulance escort as we drove through downtown Paris. We rolled out of town as scheduled at 10 o'clock on the nose, which is typical because whenever you travel with the Paris Marching Tigers, everything goes like clockwork.
Now, emotions are running high with these kids. That's because in about 20 hours, we'll cross the state line into Florida. That means we can get rid of these heavy coats, and we can start in on 6 days of fun in the sun. The Paris Marching Tigers will be back right after this! Yeah!
The Citizens National Bank of Paris would like for you to know why we are more than just a bank.
We have 12 of our people who have children or relatives involved with the Paris Bank. And over 50% of our employees have been at the bank for over 15 years.
I've worked at the bank for 9.5 years, and I like working here because I've never met such a nice group of people to work with.
I like working at Citizens so that I can see a lot of different people on a daily basis.
It's a very exciting place to work.
Friendly staff, cooperative people. I like dealing with people.
I like all the people that work here, and it's a nice place to work.
I enjoy my job. I've been here, several years, and I've got to work with a lot of different people, and I've enjoyed it so much, and I guess we've just sort of been like a big family.
A lot of nice people here to work with, friends.
I have lived here all my life, and so naturally I enjoy Paris and the people that I know.
The people in the community, the relaxed atmosphere of our bank, I think, is one of the reasons, and I do like banking. I like working here because it's fun. We try to help people, and we enjoy it.
Well, mostly the people and the surroundings. We all get along real well.
I like working at Citizens Bank because I like
Neighbors. The Citizens National Bank of Paris, an equal opportunity lender, member FDIC.
Before completing the 1,200-mile trip to Miami, the band spent a day at Daytona Beach, then headed to Orlando. While there, the entourage spent their first full day at one of our nation's leading tourist attractions. This is the famed Walt Disney World and Epcot Center. That's where the Paris High School Band and chaperones are spending their first full day in Florida. These kids are certainly full of energy in spite of the long bus ride to the Sunshine State. They'll need that energy, though, since they're spending 14 hours at Disney.
It's going to be a long time, but they're all excited, and it's a really fun time.
I think it's great. They got some sleep last night, so that helped. Before, they were really tired, sleeping on the bus. We didn't get much sleep. So since they were in bed last night and got to sleep, they want to see as much as they can today, and the weather is beautiful.
There's nearly an endless list of rides, stage shows, food, and fun here at Disney. Since we're here during the holidays, sometimes the kids had to stand in long lines like this one to Space Mountain, but they weren't discouraged by a line.
Do you think it's going to be worth it? Why do you want to stand in this long line? Because my chaperone told me to. No, because everybody's talking about it and it sounds great, and so I'm ready to go.
It's going to be fun. It might be a little tiring, though, if you run around, but it'll be fun.
Disney, one thing's for certain, and that's a fun time was had by all. Not just the kids of this band, but the adults as well. In fact, the chaperones of this band are a vital part of the trip.
Each of about 40 chaperones have had total responsibility for 6 or 7 band members while on this trip. The day we went for an ocean cruise, I spoke with many of the chaperones. Now, you'll see more of that cruise in just a couple of minutes, but first, the chaperones. Nearly all agree that this group of musicians is certainly a congenial group.
They're a bunch of kids that you can put together. They can room 5 and 7 to a room, no problems. Basically, they're a group that can get along with one another no matter who they're with. So a fun group.
It's been a lot more fun than I thought, a lot less work than I thought it'd be. Today on the cruise is fabulous.
I know that they're all good kids and they've been all easy to work with, but I think that's true of anybody that's in the band and anybody that I've come in contact with the organization. I think that's one thing that's so neat about going on band trips. I went to Hawaii 4 years ago, is that the kids are so good and it's so rewarding to be associated with them.
Several of the chaperones are recent graduates of Paris High School and former band members. A couple of them went on the band's trip to Hawaii 4 years ago, so they know the rules and they know what's expected of everyone.
And I don't really consider myself a chaperone because the kids look after themselves well enough that we don't really have to discipline them at all. We don't have to be chaperones as much. We just you tell them what the limits are and they go from there.
It's been so much fun, and it's unbelievable how professional all the band members are. Okay. It's been really enjoyable.
Many of the chaperones are members of the Band Parents Association. Sperry says he just wouldn't have such a successful band without the input of the band parents.
Most incredible group of people that I have ever been around. I mean, I enjoy it so much. Some of my greatest ideas, believe it or not, musically as well as financially and logistically, come from that group. They're just a fountain of ideas, and they just effervesce with stuff.
Marianne Pierman is the mother of 4 children who have been in the band. She says being a band parent is always a challenge.
It isn't always convenient, but there's much commitment on the part of the parents, as there seems to be with the students, and that makes it work.
When you're an officer of this organization, for a trip like this, you do get involved. You see the behind the scenes, so to speak. You appreciate more your director and the band, and you actually really see what they do, the hard work that's involved in it. It's just a super great organization to be a member of.
Okay, so would you do all this again?
Yes, I would.
Would you?
Yeah.
And that's the spirit that keeps the Marching Tigers strong. Well, now let's get back to the trip. After a few hours of sleep and a big breakfast, the kids boarded their buses bound for NASA's Kennedy Space Center.
Now, the tour of Kennedy Space Center is the educational portion of the band's trip to Florida. Here they can learn more about aeronautics, space exploration, and get an insider's view of America's space shuttle program.
It's been entertaining in one aspect, but it's also been educational. It's kind of mind-boggling to know where we have come from, and what is really scary is what is possible within the next few decades.
While at Kennedy, the kids got to view photographs taken from way up in space of various cities around the world. They also got to go inside this lunar module.
It was really interesting. We saw the inside of where they sit, and it was really neat looking at it. We thought, wow, when we're crammed in these buses and we see where they sit for all that long time, we're like, wow.
Now, just to give you an idea of how large these space vehicles are, this is just one of 5 engines housed aboard the Apollo Saturn V. Now, this engine is 19 feet tall, it's 12 feet wide, and the Apollo itself was more than 360 feet tall.
Now, some of us were pretty tired after our action-packed day at Disney, so we sat in on one of the seminars where we learned more about spaceflight. Others, though, walked around to nearly every exhibit.
Basically, the most interesting thing I've seen here would be like the films on past launches and some things that they're planning to do in the future. You know, some of the stuff that I remember vaguely when I was younger, that that kind of get to watch all this stuff again.
Learned about the way that the spacecrafts and stuff, where they went and what they did, and about the astronauts who were in it.
Okay. And so it's pretty exciting for you then? Tell me about that.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty exciting. You learned lots of new things and saw lots of things that are really neat.
The tour of Kennedy Space Center wasn't the only activity on the agenda Thursday. After getting back to the hotel, the kids got out their instruments for the first time in almost a week. The band started the rehearsal session with a few warm-ups with assistant band director Joe Gill. Mr. Gill stresses the importance of the warm-up.
The lip muscle, the embouchure muscle, is just like any other muscle in the body, and it takes a little bit of time to get used to, get it flexible and get it used to working the way it should be. And so our job in getting things warmed up today was to slowly exercise that muscle, let the muscle rest for a while, and then build that strength back up a little at a time.
In sweltering 89-degree heat, the musicians practiced for about 2 hours. They marched around the hotel parking lot just as they would march through downtown Miami in about 48 hours. Since the band had not practiced in a while, though, they got off to a rather slow start.
We had to get back our business of order. In other words, we had to start thinking as a unit again, as one giant mind. We had been off for 5 days of the horns, okay? As a result of that, we were now 240 different individuals, and that 240 individuals had to go back thinking as one. And that took us about 45 minutes.
After marching about 1 mile, it was time for a water break and a pep talk. During the break, I spoke to a couple of the band members just to see how they were feeling.
We're pretty tired, but we know it's something we have to do to make us better, and we're pretty much prepared for it. We feel pretty good about it. We're very tired, all of us are, and this is a really important practice because we have to get ready and real rusty because we haven't practiced in like a week or two, so this is really important, but we're real tired. It's sweaty and everything hot down here.
After making a few more sweeps around the hotel parking lot, Sperry was fairly satisfied with the band's look and their sound.
We're in line. We're in order. We know where we are. I know exactly where we are, and I know what we have to do to make sure that we're perfect in the parade. Of course, the music is right there with the kids, and they've got the proper form and esprit de corps to get the job done. So I'm happy. Okay. Doesn't mean that I don't want more, but I'm very pleased at this point in time.
No band of Paris's caliber would be complete without a sharp group of gals to lead them down the street. The 18 girls carrying the orange and black flags draw the eyes of virtually every spectator to the band. Back home, while Sperry rehearsed the musicians inside the band room, flag director Liz Butler drilled the girls outside. It's important for the band to play the music flawlessly, but it's equally important that the flags snap together and are up and down together. That takes a lot of time, practice, and nitpicking.
Once you know what's wrong, then you can go from there and you can try and fix it. A lot of it comes from our director, Liz. She helps a lot. She really tries to help us girls and push us because she yells a lot, but we know she does it to make us better.
Liz has been the girls' director for 2 years now. I talked to her a week before the trip to ask her how nervous she thought the girls would be while performing their routine before hundreds of thousands of onlookers.
I think they'll do fine because a couple practices ago, we went through and we had each girl do the routine by herself, and we practiced distracting them completely, yelling at them, throwing things at them, anything that could possibly go wrong, we practiced. So that way they won't be nervous and won't be camera shy.
Was the presentation acceptable? Was that...
Every successful group has a strong leader, and it's no surprise that Warren Sperry is just that, a skilled leader. With the help of the community, the band parents, and the kids, the trip to Florida came off without a hitch. Sperry is a perfectionist with a keen imagination.
Anyone who knows Warren Sperry could describe him with a long list of adjectives, including energetic and charismatic. There's no doubt Sperry has the upper hand with his musicians, but it's not unusual for him to crack a smile or two during practices and have a little fun.
Rub the air bubbles out of it. I need another sticker.
Warren is very much of a disciplinarian, but is also very dedicated. And the thing is that we have, of course, like I said, we've had 3 kids in the band. The thing that we see from them is the growth that they've had as young men and young women from being in the band, the maturity that they undergo by being in this band.
Now, I was once a member of this band, so I know from experience that Mr. Sperry can be tough. He's certainly not afraid to yell out someone's name when they make a mistake, but there is a method to his madness.
So when they're good, I praise them. And when they're not good, we discuss it at great length. And a little bit more than just, I want them to be good people. And I want them to be sincere with themselves. And I want them to be the best at all times, at all things.
These kids do try to be the best they can be for themselves, for their school, and of course for Mr. Sperry.
I love music, and it just, the name Warren Sperry, when you hear it, you think big band, you know. And, you know, it's an experience just to be in the band.
He thinks of each of us as a member of his family. And so he has 240-odd kids, and he has to take care of each one of us just like we're his own. And I think he really feels that way.
It's family, and I treat it as such. I would go to the bottom line for the kids. They will go to the bottom line for me, and that's family, and that's what it's intended to be. And
Sperry says his job is to teach each member of his band how to focus their individual talents and strengths, and also how to get that certain attitude of a winner.
I can smell a winner a mile away. And these kids, God puts that talent there. These kids are really tough. They're hungry, and they work so hard. And I can attest to that because the passing joke is if you can make it through this organization, you can make it almost anywhere.
Nearly everyone's favorite activity of the whole trip was Friday's ocean cruise. We traveled by bus early that morning through the fog to Port Canaveral, where we would board the Scandinavian Sky. Before walking up the ramp to embark the ship, we were entertained by calypso musicians who played Caribbean tunes to get us in the tropical mood. Meanwhile, photographers snapped pictures of the excited passengers. Our voyage began as the cruise director chose band member Chris Butler from the audience to demonstrate the correct way to wear a life jacket, just in case. But then it was time to pull out of port and begin a day of lounging on deck. But getting a tan wasn't the only thing to do on board. Passengers also enjoyed a trap shooting tournament, and many golfers tried to improve their swing in a golf driving contest.
Oh, I haven't ever been on a cruise before, and I am just having the best time. I love the weather. It's great. I think I'm just going to come down here and live forever. Okay, have you ever been on a cruise before, and are you having fun?
Nah, I've never been on a cruise, but yeah, it's pretty fun.
Why's that?
It's a new experience. It's real neat.
Hey, Troy, how you doing? Are you having a good time on the cruise?
Yeah, it's great. Great weather.
What do you like about it the most?
Sun and the girls.
I'm having a super time, too. I really like the warm weather. It's better than staying in the snowy weather all the time. It's great to get a tan and meet, like, the other bands. It's really interesting, you know, to talk to other people. And I seem like I've always wanted to be on a ship, you know, on a cruise and stuff, and it's really a great time.
I think it's really been fabulous because you get to meet new people. There's plenty of things here to do. It's just a once-in-a-lifetime chance for me.
The Citizens National Bank of Paris would like for you to know why we are more than just a bank. The Citizens National Bank has been a part of the community since 1902. 86 years helping you grow, from checking and savings accounts to commercial and installment loans, farm management programs, a full-service trust department, even a time and temperature number. More than just a bank, your friends and neighbors. The Citizens National Bank of Paris, an equal opportunity lender, member FDIC.
Everything we've shown you so far of the Paris Band in Florida has been leading up to a very special climax, the performance in the 55th annual King Orange Jamboree Parade. It was a perfectly warm December evening in Miami for the parade, known as the city's grandest New Year's Eve party. Before the parade, the spirited performers took care of the last-minute preparations. They touched up the white polish on their shoes, straightened their uniforms, and got their horns in tune.
Now, this is the last rehearsal for this band before their spectacular moment of glory on nationwide TV. A few of the band members feel a little bit jittery, but for the most part, there's a feeling of confidence among the members of this band.
I'm not really that nervous because we look at it as you look ahead and you don't see the crowds, and you look ahead at the street and you really don't think about the nervousness and the pressure.
Okay.
But you just know that we all know that we can play the song and that we can do our part in marching, and that we're all going to work together and make a good show.
I think we're ready to go, but I'm real jittery about the whole thing. Okay. Sort of worried. Are you confident in the routine? Yeah. I think we've all got it pretty good. I think we'll do a real good job. I'm ready to show off to all the other bands and show them what we can really do.
Director Warren Sperry and Assistant Director Joe Gill appeared confident wearing their tuxedos as they talked with directors from other bands. I asked Mr. Sperry if he and the Marching Tigers were ready for their 2-hour performance.
Yeah, sure, we're ready. I want it. I want it real bad. The kids are ready. We had an excellent day. We've had a long trip. It's been tiring on them. They've responded well. We will do well. We are big. We're strong.
And now, here they come, the Paris Marching Tiger Band. The band is hard to miss as a group of band members and PHS cheerleaders carry a flashy sign proudly proclaiming the town's name. And if that's not enough, there are 2 gigantic orange and black flags waving ahead of the band. As they made their nearly 3-mile trek through Miami, the band was embraced on both sides by a crowd of about 600,000 people. And that doesn't include the millions of folks who watched the nationally televised parade from their homes. Here now is the Marching Tiger Band as they enchant us with their electrifying performance of that patriotic favorite, Yankee Doodle Dandy. After toting their heavy instruments nearly 3 miles, the tuba players were still exhilarated enough to show off a little. Other performers were weary but still enthusiastic at the end of the parade. Mr. Sperry was just as pumped up as the kids.
The kids were really great. We got so many compliments. I'm the luckiest man in the world. I've got it all. I've got the finest band in the country. I tell you, we've just had so much fun. This is a show band. The crowd just responded well.
Band members and chaperones alike spent the remainder of their New Year's Eve dancing back at the hotel. The party was a well-deserved break after their outstanding showing in the Orange Bowl parade. That night, the kids bid farewell to 1988 and happily rang in 1989. But there's no doubt that this Florida trip will be a fond memory for these kids in the years to come.
The Citizens National Bank of Paris would like for you to know why we are more than just a bank.
We have 12 of our people who have children or relatives involved with the Paris Band. And over 50% of our employees have been at the bank for over 15 years.
I've worked at the bank for 9.5 years, and I like working here because I've never met such a nice group of people to work with.
I like working at Citizens so that I can see a lot of different people on a daily basis.
It's a very exciting place to work.
Friendly staff, cooperative people. I like dealing with people.
I like all the people that work here, and it's a nice place to work.
I enjoy my job. I've been here, several years, and I've got to work with a lot of different people, and I've enjoyed it so much, and I guess we've just sort of been like a big family.
A lot of nice people here to work with, friends.
I have lived here all my life, and so naturally I enjoy Paris and the people that I know.
The people in the community, the relaxed atmosphere of our bank, I think, is one of the reasons, and I do like banking. I like working here because it's fun. We try to help people, and we enjoy it.
Well, mostly the people and the surroundings. We all get along real well.
I like working at Citizens Bank because I like people and I like helping all our valued customers.
It's the friendliest place in town.
More than just a bank, your friends and neighbors. The Citizens National Bank of Paris, an equal opportunity lender, member FDIC.
The trip is coming to an end now. You can tell by the snow on the ground that we're back in Paris, Illinois. A throng of parents and supporters of the band came out in spite of freezing temperatures to greet the weary travelers. The 267-member entourage, including band members and chaperones, were led by a police escort to the high school, and they began unloading the buses.
Right now, all these kids can think about is getting off these buses and getting home into their own beds. But in a couple of days, after the fatigue of this long trip is worn off, there's no doubt they'll remember the fun times they had.
Most of the band members have next year to think about, and before this trip is even over, Warren Sperry is already thinking ahead.
The recuperative powers are real quick, and I'm ready to go back. There's just so much to do out there, and I just want to get my hands on it as quick as I can. So,
I hope you've enjoyed this presentation. A special thanks to the Citizens National Bank of Paris who made this show possible. And thank you for watching. I'm Shelley Johns. Good night.
pray, Lord, that your hand of love, compassion, and protection and guidance will be upon each of them. May they rejoice as they share this experience together. May all the preparations that they have made be brought into complete fulfillment. We rejoice in their lives. We place this as our prayer in Jesus Christ. Amen.
If I can have Brother Darrell sing afterwards, okay? Here we go. Can everybody hear me? Yeah. Say something, man. You too. Yeah, me. Everybody here? All right. Okay. All right.